Welcome, my friends, to the Social Regressive and the case of the missing bolt velocity. In the last video you saw that we were not getting quite enough power back through this 6mm arc carbine to be able to reliably cycle the bolt. This is an Odin barrel, it's an 18-incher, it has a rifle length gas system, and this has an Odin bolt, and everything should be running together really well. And as I pull this, it doesn't feel abnormal in any way. Don't feel any drag. But what we're gonna do today is we're gonna go through all the various things in here that could be causing a problem and keeping this from reliably extracting, ejecting, and then feeding the next round. Or the bolt stop. This should be able to stop on an empty mag, and so far it's not. So we're gonna see what we can do to eliminate some variables and figure out what's actually going on here today. Now, one of the first things that I wanna check, because it doesn't involve anything invasive, is just, okay, I'm gonna give this a feel, see if there's anything just strange happen now. It just feels really smooth. What I could do is I could lube up the lugs in there and just make sure that everything is running really smoothly, but so far it feels good. But what I can do is I can take the mag and see if we're dragging on anything. So I've got that in place, and we'll see if this feels any different. It really doesn't. I don't feel any noticeable difference in drag, and I was feeling this earlier just to see if there was anything. It does ride just a little bit over the top of the follower. It isn't touching the feed lips, and that's one of the things that you can check. You can take a look at your mag, and if you see any shiny spots on the feed lips, then it could mean that the bolt is dragging on it somewhere. But no, it only seems to be dragging on the follower, and that's normal. You're always gonna have that upward pressure. It's gonna drag on a round, it's gonna drag on the follower, no problem there. With that out of the way, let's take a look inside the rifle and see if there's anything that could be messing this up. There's a remote possibility that the hammer spring is a little bit too eager, but I didn't feel any extra friction. Plus, this is a really well squared away drop-in trigger. This is the RA240. Nothing should be wrong with that. Everything about this feels really smooth and light. Moving back here, we have the buffer spring and the buffer. I was wondering if maybe the buffer was a bit too heavy, but not the case. This turns out to be a 3-ounce buffer. That is one of the lightest that you can get. So that is not the issue. This spring might be a bit over firm, but this is a pretty hard-hitting cartridge, the 6mm arc. And so I don't know if I want to go dropping in something light. Now, we will come back to this in a second because there could be something that we could change out. I have been looking at some discussions on forums. People have been dealing with the Odin Works barrel and some of its eccentricities, and so we may actually swap out the spring back here. But first, let's go take a look at that barrel. This is an 18-inch barrel, and you can see that with the rifle length gas system, there is a very short jump between the gas port and the muzzle. Pressures will have dropped off considerably compared to a mid-length system, and once the bullet has escaped out this end, those pressures are going to drop off pretty quickly. So they're going to be lower overall, and then they're going to drop off pretty quickly out here as well. So we need to make sure that this gas system is set up properly. I'm going to check the size of the port, and I'm going to make sure that we have this in the exact right spot over that gas port in the first place. My first observation is that the gas block is a nice tight fit. It's not likely that gas is going to be escaping anywhere, and I don't see evidence of any gas escaping except through the adjustable port up here. Looks like some made it out past the screw, but that's about it. I've taken all the measurements, and guess what? Everything is completely within spec. The distance between this front face and the gas port is exactly the same as the distance between the back face on the gas block and the gas port drilled into it. No problem there. Air cycles through here just fine. I can open up the gas block and I can see the actual detent moving in there. It's opening up and making plenty of space. And this gas port is the exact right size for where it should be on this barrel. This is about 110 thousandths, just a little bit smaller. And so this is exactly what it should be. So maybe what I need to be doing is, again, looking at the back of the rifle, maybe I do need to swap over to a lighter buffer spring in order to get a more reliable cycle. To eliminate variables, I went ahead and lubed up everything in the upper, so it should be running extremely smoothly now. It could be that some of the parts need to wear in just a little bit, but performance was so bad, it wasn't even really on the marginal side, that something else has to change. So what I've done is I've gone ahead, I went to the forums, and I found out about this. This is the NEMO Reduced Power Spring. This is designed for 300 blackout if you're running subsonics. So if you are dealing with a lower pressure system and you want to be able to still cycle the bolt reliably, people recommend that you use this, and people have used it in the Odin system specifically to good effect. So we're going to see if the two things can help this out. The buffer is still that 3 ounce, it's very lightweight, so I'm not going to be changing it out. But wow, you can already see a difference in the spring. The wire thickness on this one is less, and it seems like it has fewer coils. To further reduce friction in here, I'm going to go ahead and put a little oil on the spring. I'll put a link to the NEMO Spring in the description below. There's the part number if you're looking for it. I think this is only available at Brownells. You can look around. But this is running very smoothly. This is a very light pull now. And so this should have no trouble pushing this all the way back. Now I might run into the other problem where I'm getting too much dwell time, where the buffer is being pushed all the way back and bonking against the back of the buffer tube. But in that case, all I have to do is close down that gas block and we should be okay. And I'm still hopeful that we can run subsonics in this gun. Time to put it to the test. And I'm not one to waste ammo, so let's knock some stuff down. Got 5 rounds in here and I'm wide open on the gas block. Let's see how it goes. 200 meters. All right, we have an eject. Ooh, and I think it did load the next round. Let's back this up to 300. By cracky, it actually is cycling. How about that? It's probably a bit overpressure right now. Everything feels pretty solid. It's coming all the way back and going all the way forward. I'll take one more shot and then we'll see about maybe tuning it down just a little bit. Ooh, this thing is shooting lights out. Heck yes. And this scope is awesome. I can read the mirage really well. Tell you what, I'm gonna watch this time. I'm gonna aim roughly at one of these piggies and not be watching when I take the shot. I wanna see where this cartridge lands. Okay. Okay, now it's coming at an angle. It's going pretty far. I'm pretty happy with how this is cycling. I may just leave it. And I hit it without even looking at the target. Heck yeah. Just for grins, I've reduced the amount that it's open. 20 is all the way open. That's what I had it at. So that's 20 clicks. It has little detents, so it actually clicks around. I've changed it by half. We're down to 10, and we're gonna see if these cycle. Same magazine, same ammo. Let's see what we can do. Wow, what a difference that one spring makes. Yeah, that was half closed, and the bolt is still cycling just fine. Now, on these that I shot before, there's a tiny bit of swipe, so they may be coming out a little bit early. I don't see anything really scary though, no big, scratches. They didn't seem to be extremely hot. Let's go see how these are. These look exactly the same. Okay, so now we have gas block to play with. Now I feel like if I come up with some subsonics, this should be able to handle it. All right, got some good stuff going, guys. Thanks for watching. We found the fix. Just one more little thing you would have to buy if you want to put one together like this. That original spring just doesn't cut it. You'll have to go with a lighter spring. All right, well, at least we found it. This gun is just awesome. Just for fun, let's knock down a turkey out there at 400. This Athlon scope is the business. The reticle is great. I can see everything I want from mirage through colors and Everything is just crisp and tight, so I can easily see what the wind is doing out there. I'm gonna hold left on this guy just a bit. Let's see, if we're at a 6 mile an hour wind, oh wow, that's not much at all. I'm not gonna hold off much. All right, I am already in love with this rifle and 6mm ARC. I gotta highly recommend it. I know that this rifle has been a little bit finicky to put together and get running just right, but I'm a huge fan. This is gonna be so much stupid fun. I could use this on anything. Coyotes, prairie dogs, deer. This really is exactly what I was going for. This is gonna be great. So now, we've tested some factory ammo. In the next set of videos, we're gonna take a look at hand loads because that's where the real potential of this rifle is gonna come out. Don't miss it. Make sure that you subscribe to the channel and hit the notification bell because you won't wanna miss anything that comes out. Yeah, we're gonna do a wide range of bullets. We're gonna do a 58 grain VMAX all the way up to a 105 grain. That's gonna be the BTHP match. And we're gonna try one of the hunting bullets in between. This is gonna be great. Oh, and I just remembered one extra thing. In the last video, you might have seen how we were getting a really sticky bolt when we were running the can. Well, that was for a very good reason. These rounds, the original batch of Hornady ELDM and the BTHP, that's the black load, both of those were too long for the chamber. They were actually in the grooves. They were actually in the rifling. And so it's not a wonder that, I mean, they perform okay in here. They seem to do just fine. There's nothing crazy going on. I don't see real high pressure signs. But apparently when you put the can on, it just takes it right over the top. I will be doing some testing with a suppressor on here because I think that's a great match for 6mm ARC, but not with this factory ammo. It doesn't work. Too high pressure. Sticky bolt. I don't want to go tearing a case in half, getting a big old case head separation and making a mess. Nope, not going to damage the rifle. We're going to stick to hand loads for that.
Thanks for watching. If you liked this video, be sure to like, share, and most importantly, subscribe. Even if you didn't like this particular content, go ahead and subscribe. There's probably something coming that's more up your alley. Check out this playlist right here. This is going to have videos in a similar vein to what you just watched. These two videos we cherry-picked for you. And finally, The Social Regressive is on Patreon. So you can become a patron of the Destructive Arts and earn some goodies while helping us to provide high-quality videos just by kicking us a few bucks a month. Thanks a bunch for your patronage.